He doesn't regret it pressing the button. Not that much, anyway. His firm belief within his belief that lmanburg wasn't something that could be salvaged, contrary to Tommy's endless optimism. It stopped being his lmanburg, and it was never to be his again. And he'd rather have no lmanburg than settle with a shell of it that stands in its place, that belongs to someone else. He had been talked out of it one too many times. It needed to be done, though he does wish it didn't have to be done in front of, his dad. Philza, that's and then to go on and have his dad assist him in what was essentially, oh god, this is really dramatic. Wilbur, he knows what's a strong word or heavy word to be more specific, and sometimes the word doesn't even feel applicable to his dad. It's so easy to write it off as something else that feels less real, more like something you'd find in a storybook, like some sort of villain being a stain or whatever. Not a suicide that makes things so much scarier and so much more real. Whew. It's not like he can hide what it was. He asked his dad to kill him. Hell, he practically begged for it, repeating the fleeting words like a mantra to the extent his very last words were, "Do it." It's just, he felt like it needed to happen. It felt like he had to die, and so he did. Phil hesitated. Wilbur recognizes that after having his sword shoved into his hand by his own son as he begged to be killed, he hesitated, his hand shook, and he didn't look Wilbur in the eye not once. But he still did it, no matter how much his hand shook, no matter how much he found himself at a loss for words, he still killed him. A part of Will depends skill, and that part defends Bill with his life. Ultimately, how well can you expect a father to respond to a situation where he's lived his life up until now believing his son successful, married, and happy, only to find out that the very same son breaking down in a small room ready to blow up the very nation he created? He can't imagine any father would do particularly well in such a situation, but a part of him remains frightful. It's a cold, hateful feeling that resides in the depths of his stomach that honestly makes him feel like he's going to vomit. He can't say he feels particularly bad for it, especially now that the result of the blade that once lay in his father's hands has resulted in Wilbur being trapped here forever. Kinda sucks, doesn't it? Wilbur can't be entirely forgiving when he's forced to be here forever, whilst philza can live happily. It's a weird mess of feelings. It sucks. Honestly, it didn't even feel real to begin with. Wilbur's previous experiences with death have always resulted in waking up the next day, waking up in pain, confused before remembering what happened before. But when Wilbur woke up this time, he didn't find himself in a bed being taken care of. He woke up in a train, all alone. It seriously felt like a nightmare. It felt like he was asleep and he was going to wake up in a comfortable and familiar bed as usual, surrounded by the people that loved him and wanted to take care of him, even if at some point he wasn't particularly worth taking care of. And of course, days went by and he never woke up. Of course he didn't. He was dead for good. Oh, Wilbur. And when the realization sank in, something broke. Something in him broke. Oh no, Wilbur. He began screaming and pleading at the walls, knowing full well that no one could hear him until his throat would grow sore and even bleed. He clawed the walls until the skin on the tips of his own fingers was torn and bloodied, leading his fingers to become scarred even now, so many later. He kept track of every single day, indulging in savior fantasies whenever he could, pleading for someone, anyone, to make his death more bearable. But it didn't take long for it to all wear Wilbur down. Gradually, he stopped reacting so viscerally. Viscerally? He's not sure whether this is like so Wilbur said. Like if someone said Wilbur wrote this, I would believe it, especially with the fancy words that I don't know. He's not sure whether that was because he started doing better or he was becoming worse, accepting his fate. even coming to believe that the fate resigned to him was a necessary burden that ultimately Wilbur being what can I read? Being here really was for the best. Maybe this was how things were supposed to be. God, Wilbur turned to where he assumed the sound came from, only to realize very shortly after that it wasn't an announcement. It was a platform display. What do you know? Wilbur still can't read it, though it does look slightly different from what he's seen every day prior to the day. What could possibly be going on? Admittedly, Wilbur is a little confused. What could make today any different than days prior? He supposes it doesn't matter. It's weird. He turns away from the platform display, not saying so much as a word. Wilbur hasn't talked in a while, actually. I suppose it's not easy to speak when there's no one to listen to you. And talking to himself makes him feel really freaking crazy. He used to talk to himself a lot, but at least having other people to talk to him during this time makes him feel pretty normal. But now, God, could you imagine how insane he'd look? A 40-something-year-old man prancing around a long dead train station talking to himself like it's the best conversation he's had in years. He'd look mad, and it wouldn't look much better if he were to try talking to those weird freaking shadows either. It's not like they talk back. He'd love for someone to talk to, but no, there's no one. He's completely alone, and of course he is. He hates being alone. Back then, when he was present, or even during his mental decline in Poctopia, he would have loved some time to breathe, some time to think. But now he'd kill for one of his friends to annoy him, for Tommy to burst into the room telling him what the two are going to do, what the two are going to do today, or for Tubber to come in telling Wilbur how he and Tommy messed up somehow and needs help. He'd kill for anything. He hates it here. He hates it so freaking much, but it's not fair. He misses his friends. He misses their voices. He misses their personalities. He misses their comfort, their company. He misses them. He wants to die. Ironic, isn't it? Dying is what got him here to begin with, and really, he can't die again. That's simply not how this process works. But it'd be nice. A few hopeful seconds as he believes that he'll die again and nothing will follow it would be nice. There's no use though. Wilbur knows that. He's known that for years. But every time that reality sinks in, that Wilbur's here forever and there's truly nothing that can be done about it, it hurts so much it hurts. Wilbur walks up to the edge of the pathway past the barriers before standing right next to where the train would be. He looks down. Ooh, new art. He looks down at the lower part of the floor where the train would be. Strangely, he gets a sense of deja vu as though he's looked down like this before. A shiver runs through his body, up his spine, making his hair and his neck stand up. A gentle breeze pulls over his figure. It feels nice. It's a vaguely familiar and reminiscent of a summer breeze you'll feel against your back as you stick your arms out wide and stand tall on a pier or a balcony or roof. But Wilbur doesn't feel like he's standing tall. He feels like he's at the lowest he's ever been. The breeze continues, his strength only developing until Wilbur remembers that he's not outdoors. A breeze. A breeze would mean we are now entering. Wilbur turns around and looks at the train as it pulls in. It never used to announce that it was returning. He backed up from the edge where he stood previously. New art. A whistle-like sound blows out the train as it slows down to a halt. The doors open. Wilbur hears humming. It's sad and a little shaky, but the boy humming doesn't stop. Wilbur listens to the voice for a while. It's calming, it's familiar. The passing humming doesn't seem to be moving. They don't want to get off the train. In due time, Wilbur hears soft, slow footsteps as the humming gets closer until a figure stands at the open door. The boy gasps. Wilbur stares at him. The figure stares back, hands pressed against his own rapidly moving chest as though he's trying to protect himself. Oh, this can't be real. Surely. Wilbur takes a deep breath in perfect sync with the boy in front of him, who's yet to move from the doorway of the train. Tommy? The boy's eyebrows lift in surprise. The overly breath escapes his lips. He's real. It's real. What? Wilbur. But before Wilbur could close his teeth and just unfolded, Tommy collapsed into his arms, holding onto Wilbur's back and burying his pale face in the fabric of his shoulder. Tommy squeezed Wilbur as tight as he could muster as he sobbed. He held onto Wilbur tightly as if trying to prove to himself that what's happening is real. Wilbur would love to do the same, but Tommy, he looks in pain. Wilbur ought to be careful, so he gently holds the boy back as he sobs. Oh. The boy's face is bruised and snores laughing with a thin coat of dry blood. Every time he tries to show expression in his face, it's interrupted by a sharp wince. He's in so much pain. It's not right. It's not fair. He shouldn't be here. He's not supposed to be here. Not yet. It's too soon. Wilbur didn't mean it, what he had thought before. He'd rather be lonely for the rest of his life than live with the knowledge that he couldn't protect his brother. But at the very least, he can protect him now. Wilbur has so much he wants to say, an endless amount of apologies, scores, affirmations, questions, but he couldn't quite bring himself to say anything. He's not sure if any words could quite portray the amount of things he wants to express. There's no rush, though. They can both talk when they're ready. Wilbur realizes that they've got a few decades to catch up on now, haven't they? Thanks for playing. No, that broke my heart. What? Wait, why didn't they leave? What's going on? No, I thought Tommy was gonna come and then they'll leave and I could hear my heart physically breaking. So thanks for that. But no, that was beautiful. Was there supposed to be music? There was voice work at the end. Hold on, what's going on? Why can't I hear anything? That was amazing. Music or no music, voice or no voice. They did an absolutely amazing job on this game. I'm gonna go sob myself to sleep now. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Follow me on Twitter because I'm pretty funny on Twitter. And TikTok. I haven't posted TikTok in a while, but I will eventually. Yeah, I guess I will see you next time.